I've wanted to speak about online discourse multiple times, but nothing really ever jumped out at me. There was no jumping off point for me at all. That is, until all this stuff with Unknowingly took place and there was something to talk about there. See, the cancellation of The Man in the Suit was exactly the type of crap I was looking for anyway. This is the result of childish children and adults' clothing being extremely disrespectful to the smallest changes of their precious media. Godzilla isn't the only fandom I will be talking about today, but I will be on about this one probably first. Ruby and Steven Universe will also be brought up. If you're interested in my thoughts on discourse around these shows, stick around. Also, here's my trigger warning. There will be mentions of suicide, threats of violence, doxing, threats of legal action, PTSD, and depression. If any of this is a bit heavy for you, I do not recommend you watch or listen to it, okay? Okay, let's get started with Godzilla. Now, Godzilla is a series I personally enjoyed for most of my life. My first true Godzilla film is Godzilla 2000 Millennium, and I freaking love every second of that film, including human scenes. All of this is meaningless, but I figured I'd give you a start point. I have seen every film. I enjoyed them for the most part. However, when it comes to quality, most of them aren't very good nowadays. Godzilla 54 being the best of the oldest films, Godzilla vs. Destroy being the best of its era, Godzilla against Mechagodzilla is tied with its sequel and T.H.I.N.K in its era. Bite me. This is all preamble to talk about what the problem it is with the fandom itself. Now, mind you, bear in mind, this isn't in the script, but I'm going to say it here. This is not every member of the fandom, only a small subsection that thinks that Godzilla is love, Godzilla is life. I mean, he's not, but we'll get into that here in just a second here. Now let's talk about Man in the Suit, a now cancelled series by Unknowingly that takes the original theme of Godzilla 54 and turns it up to 45 trillion. I have already talked about this series and some of the backlash in this video. Check it out after this one. Here's why I put the trigger warning before this part. Unknowingly received a lot, and I mean a lot, of backlash for this series, one of them being the absolute dumbest thing I have ever heard. They stated that he disrespected the original suit actor. Despite not even 40 seconds into the first episode, it states that Gojira suit actor is unknown. 33 seconds if you want to be extra specific. So the real life actor has piss all to do with the series, and while I myself haven't seen the other takes, it's more than likely just fake fans getting pissy that someone dared change their fiction series in any way. And also, this clip exists.
Simply as the Man in the Suit. You're not hearing that incorrectly. It's an analog horror series about Godzilla, or at least the human inside of Godzilla. And let me tell you, loyal theorists, the story that it tells is simultaneously scary, tragic, and heartbreaking. In an overcrowded genre full of cheap thrills, the Man in the Suit's covering some massive topics with devastating themes, which is only made more impressive once you realize that the channel's creator unknowingly is just doing this all on their phone. Also, and this is just a side note here, it recently came to my attention that Unknowingly was getting harassed by a small subset of the Godzilla fan community for the series and thinking about ending the entire thing. To which I say, first off, Unknowingly, your work is great. The story that you're telling, it's mature, it's thoughtful. Don't let a small group of whiny, butthurt man children diminish the great work that you're doing. Speaking of those butthurt man children, if you are one of those people who harass someone's fan creation because the visuals are bad or the story isn't what you like, guess what? You are a baby and you need to go change your diaper. Wah wah man baby, go back to your crib. Valid constructive criticism, yeah, that's one thing. That is great. It is valuable to creators across the board. But sending death threats to a kid making a fan series on his phone because in your eyes it disrespects your rubber suit lizard monster, guess what? You're the real monster. Oh boy, I went a little bit harder than I expected on that one, but I had to get it off my chest.
What? Yep, you heard that right. You definitely heard that right. Man, oh freaking man. One of the things that people tend to forget is what Matt said. Unknowingly is a kid, a teenager, making a fictional series on his phone. One more trigger warning, step away now. The backlash for this series was so severe that Unknowingly attempted suicide as a result. At this point, a normal thinking person would just stop, but I doubt these people will stop. I've been listening to multiple other people talk about Discourse and why it happens more than once. The thing about fandom spaces is that you get these select few that attach themselves to a series in a parasocial manner. An opinion or change to the status quo is a challenge to their very being. My comment about the earlier films will more than likely get those same kinds of people banshee screaming at me, "How dare you insult my fiction series that I attached my very soul to?" Yeah, it's those people that caused creators to go as far as Unknowingly did. Now, at time of writing, it would appear that he is doing much better, but here's the rub. It never should have gotten that far. Or it never should have gotten to that point to begin with. These are grown men threatening a child for his fiction series to the point of it nearly costing his life. It's no wonder he canceled the darn thing. I said it in the rant video, and it bears repeating here. You wouldn't dare put yourself in that kid's shoes and walk the mile. You can't, and you won't. Because that would require effort, and most people that make these comments will never step out of the box. The 2 times I spoke on the Unknowingly situation before this were at the time of the occurrence. What I didn't realize is how big this actually was until another creator pointed out the supposed allegations against a literal teenager, just being a teenager. I need to drill that home so you guys realize how seriously dumb these people are. While Unknowingly isn't the only one of this happens to, I'm highlighting him specifically because he's just a kid. Most adult content creators can handle this sort of thing very well. I can, nowadays, handle this pretty well. I can see idiot comments as just that and simply delete them. I have moderators to help me manage the comments, and shout out to Paleo Art Team at Up From the Depths. I can seriously sit here all day long and comment how childish some Godzilla fans are. But it's about time to move on to the next thing. And that is Steven Universe. Oh boy, here we go. Steven Universe is probably the absolute worst on the shows that we're talking about today. Mind you, I didn't really interact with the fanbase all that much at the time of the show's airing, even after Future ended. I did watch the Crystal Clear series with Ostrich Vox and the Roundtable, but honestly, that was about it. Steven Universe is how I ran into Lily Orchard, now CD Call, and their big video of Steven Universe's garbage, and here's why. Highlighting the issues of the show inside and out. It's worth noting that CD Call's thoughts on the show are currently less angry and more neutral about it. It's also worth noting that she has remade various parts of the video with a less angry lens. Me personally, I didn't realize how bad the show was until I looked at it more critically. I actually rewatched the entire show, yes, all of the wasted episodes, I'll call it, with what CD said in mind. This is before the rewrites, mind you, and I saw every crack. My mind was changed, which was the point of the video in the first place. Now, the fandom itself appears to mostly be members of the LGBT, due to the fact that a lot of the show's identity around it, that is the show's identity, for the most part, when you consider that the gem race is primarily female. Heck, one of the main characters of the show, Garnet, is a fusion between 2 gems that are dating for most of the series, getting married towards the end. Because the cast is for the most part colorful women, of course the LGBT were going to attach to it. Much like Godzilla fans, quote unquote, there's some that will be very vapid about anyone who dares be critical to their precious rock show. It's exactly why I haven't rolled out my remake series, The Crystal Gems, the given title, that changes a lot of what is wrong with the show and added much needed context, where it is needed. Think Fixing Ruby, but for Steven Universe. I honestly don't know if I will ever make those videos now because I have a good feeling there will be those same vapid fans getting mad at me for what I think. However, like I said, I can handle negative comments. Another trigger warning here. What I know for a fact I won't is the death threats that may happen. Yes, I realize I might be anxious for nothing, but still, with fandoms like this, it's hard to really say what the reactions will be. I have noticed a lot of alternate universes that get a lot of positive traction, but I don't know if that's enough. Steven Universe Future ended ages ago now, and what CD said, and I'll say it too, it died pretty quickly, but the fan base is still present. Maybe I'll put out just one video on the Crystal Gems and see how it goes. Regardless, I didn't have much to say about the Steven Universe and its fandom, but I have seen some stuff and heard it enough to say that, yeah, it's pretty bad. What I can talk about, though, is RWBY. Now, RWBY is a show I followed from day one. From the time the red trailer was released all the way up to the final episode of Volume 9. I have always found it very interesting from its very concept of taking something that is attached to color or meaning and creating a character that is attached to it. Monty Ohm, the creator, made something amazing with this series before his passing during the production of Volume 3. The characters, the writing, sometimes, and the overall story is very interesting. It's a lot to unpack now if you're just checking out the series for the first time. 9 volumes, a secondary chibi series, comics, crossover movies with DC, and multiple lore videos is a lot. Someone actually has a playlist full of everything to do with the show, and I will put a link in the description below, assuming it's still there at time of me recording this. Now you probably wonder, Divic, where is the Discourse with RWBY? Well, answer, it's literally everywhere. The shipping, the theories, the show itself, those same vapid people I mentioned above, here exist within the RWBY fandom, or FNDM, if you want to be generic, or follow the same trend. There's not a whole lot of them, thankfully, but it's worth calling out as a problem. Like with those above, there are those that attach themselves to the show to their very being, and anyone suggesting something that not be there or be altered in any way is an insult. To my knowledge, there's only one group that has changed this series in a big way, and the fandom, for the most part, loves it. Celtic Phoenix and his production team started Fixing RWBY, a series that takes the show as a whole and tweaks various parts of it, either the structure or the lore of the series. It is actually my preferred watch, as RWBY's problems, mostly with the writing, weren't always the best. Looking at you, Amber, I highly recommend watching the show proper first, however, before watching Fixing RWBY, as you will have a better understanding of what has changed. And while I'm not going to talk in full about everything RWBY's fandom is doing wrong, all the toxic stuff from the other groups is here. Threats of violence, doxing, the whole nines. It's ridiculous that a show about colorful characters has such a dull group of people who make it their personal mission to be a douche to others. Discourse is going to be here whether we like it or not. There will always be those that disagree with this or that. The best thing that we can do for each other is to be better. I wanted to talk about more groups today, but I think my point has been made already. Now, before I end off this video, I want to present to you something that my grandfather actually taught me and a bunch of others, and that is the following. It is called the Think Principle. First question, is it true? Is the statement you are about to make a true statement? Is it based in fact? Did you get that information from the actual creator of a thing? If not, don't say it. Is it helpful? Is your comment going to help the creator improve or help them at all? I get comments all the time that are helpful to me with my stuttering and script flubs, like you've heard in this video, which is why I purposely allowed myself to do it. Don't bother with the comments if your goal is not to help them. Is it inspirational? Is your comment going to inspire the creator to continue? Here's an example in my own comment section of what could be considered inspirational. See how they said great video or something like that? If that isn't somewhere in your comment, stop. Is it necessary? Now this one, I'll admit, a lot of people are failing at. Is what you're commenting necessary? Like, is your comment needed in order to help creators/artists improve their craft? If not, leave it alone. Is it kind? Now, this one is more clear than the last. Is what you're saying kind? Is it nice? Honestly, it's this one that people really fail at. But yeah, think is one thing that people never really do all that often. Did you think? Did you know also that think is a huge part of DBT? Dialectical, I think that's how you pronounce that, behavior therapy. It's important to know this, as it is helpful to improve online discourse into non-existence. Commenters tend to forget that creators are people too, people who are emotional beings. Unknowingly, Matt, Pat, Markiplier, myself, Up from the Depths, the list goes on. If we want to improve our online experience, we have to consider that we are people. Put yourself in those shoes. I said it in the rant video, people just won't do that. But it has to be done. think is another way to do it. Also, normal or just thinking at all. Understand that people have a breaking point. If that breaking point is known and it is broken anyway, that is completely on you. The creator has every right to do what to do. Wait, what is it called? What did the kids call it again? Crashing out? Yeah, let's go with that. They have every right to crash out when that happens. I actually saw this happen in real time. I won't say who it was or what the crash out was for. I'm keeping their name out for their safety. But it stands. We have to be better. This is the start. I doubt this video will be viewed by the same people I'm talking about. However, if you are those people, I'm not attacking you. I'm not telling you how to live your life. I'm telling you how to treat others with respect and how you want to be treated. You can make the claim that it wouldn't bother you, but be so honest with me. Yes, it does. Right? Right? In the back of your mind, you hate that someone spoke to you in that way. And you really want to tell them to stop. I treat people better, and I promise you, all of this will go away. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate every last one of you. And if I did trigger some people, I'm sorry. But again, if you are in that group of people that take fandom and the series you love super seriously, really take a step back and think for a moment. Not just the acronym. Actually think for a moment. Think back to everything you may have said to someone that may be considered nasty or gross or easy to misunderstand. Think on that for a moment. And be better. Be better. I challenge you all to be better. If my crazy butt can do it, I'm sure you guys can too. Leave a like if you guys did enjoy, subscribe if you're new, of course, and I will see you all next time. Have a good one, and be safe.